Alright, this might be a TGS game I'm thinking of that could be entertaining. This is the second game of the day. The first game was basically me being lagged out and unable to do anything. This game is Q, me, Steak, Ricky on a Jazz Save versus HKS, Rainbow Twiddle, his lot, and Thaloli. This is different than what I remember. I remember a different game. I may have actually accidentally skipped past the game that I was thinking of before. Alright, so Lady Vash. Do I remember a game playing Lady Vash? Oh, I'm going Serpent Word Chain Lightning Brilliant Sora. In the first game, I did cast most of it. I ended up leaving at the end of it because it was just really dumb. It wasn't very entertaining. I went like auras and pegs on the Pit Lord, and I just was incapable of doing anything. And Q went like pure auras and was incapable of doing anything. And I'm still trying to I was moving Warcraft 3 to different drive. I mean, you can see it stuttering right now. It's starting like crazy. And in these games, it was particularly bad. And that's why I kind of went like a lazy build in the first game. But it was obvious we can't win if I do that. So I went something a little different here. Even though it's very stuttery. Stuttery even to watch it. Like trying to click in micro serpent wards while it's lagging like this is basically impossible. So I don't remember too much about this game, but we do have the enemy team is kind of trying to figure out what they want to do. And looks like High Zealot went Black Arrow, and Steak is making beetles. Oh, I think I might remember that. Ricky in the last game died to minions a lot. He died to Murlocs every like 10 minutes. And died a handful of times to other things, or nearly died a few times. So he already has history with those. So it's 1v2 bottom lane. And Thaloli went all nukes again. So yeah, I'm not gonna do too much, especially low level. So we have Q, who's going kind of like... I actually kind of remember this game. Q just goes sort of damage, but sort of not. I think he actually... I'm not sure if this is one of the games where we see cold arrows stacked with poison sting or something similar, and he just like basically immobilizes enemies. It's as stupid as it sounds. I've seen it a handful of times, and I've done it a handful of times way back. Looks like HKS also went cold arrow though. Oh, the skills. By the way, I've made a habit where if I see Ricky's items and I have a full inventory, he'll leave them around the fountain. I'll just start taking them. I don't know if that happens in this game, but there's actually a very high chance I die here because... Never mind. Ricky killed someone. Ah, Ricky's in trouble. Oh. So I killed Thaloli. Ricky killed HKS, and then Ricky killed himself. Yeah, I also tried to fix the... I think my return was even still on cooldown. Yeah, or maybe I interrupted it accidentally. When you try to buy stuff and you can't, it puts it on a cooldown, which can be kind of annoying. More like later on in the game. I only use cat beans. The double text message. This is a Blizzard classic. Lots of shekels laying around on the map. So, pretty calm game. Definitely going to be way higher violence than the first one. The first one was actually pretty low kill because our team had Thigh Lolly for damage and H-Kiss for like, so he only had like Chain Lightning, so. And they got items they pushed, we couldn't do anything about it. And then they had to destroy our entire base to end the game. Even though I clearly wanted it to end way before that, but. This game here looks like it's going to be a lot more violent, and there's many more volatile builds in here. So, I actually think what I was going to do with Vash is I was looking for an Erdl killing build. And I took Chain Lightning mostly for wave clear. Because... yeah, if your team only has like one wave clear, and especially if it's like 4v4, it reaches a point where you cannot keep up with the minions, and they just rotate the minions, and then you lose. So you do need to have some wave clear. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I actually gave that serious thought. But, I don't think that's the case in this. I don't know why it performs so badly. I'm just going to assume it's typical Blizzardisms. So they're getting in some early clears here. The early clears can be nice to help you force down these towers early on. And then you can move into the enemy's top lane and start jacking stuff down there. You can get early clears in the bottom lane and do similar things, but... they pissed off Krabner. And yeah, if you can clear out the bottom lane, but you don't really see a lot of people going to the bottom because the shop down there isn't as seen as valuable. I died. I think I was like trying to get him into the towers, but tower aggro in this is very, very unpredictable. And I think I'm still a little too trained on League and Heroes of the Storm for bouncing tower aggro. I've gotten so many kills off of doing that in those games. In this, it's not as useful though. The tower damage isn't as good, and they aggro very inconsistently. Ricky and HKS lanes are always really stupid. They both like to play how low can you go. Both of them get punked for it. But yeah, you don't usually see a lot of people being very aggressive about the bottom lane because these guys aren't really as good in pushing in bottom lane. And probably more importantly, as a shop here isn't seen as valuable. There is like nice mid-range items on there that you can pick up. Like the Helm of Blood... what is it? Battlethirst? Bloodthirst is not bad. But I don't think the God Orb is as good as the other items. It might, I don't know, it might be alright. But usually it's like, I would rather have an axe, or I'd rather have another thing. But some of the low-end items on there, it's nice, but most people don't go for those. And then a lot of the items are just not that useful. So this lane here is kind of a deadlock. Unless I play really low, they can't kill me. The blink accomplished nothing because of LOS. I ended up taking heal in this because I knew I was going to have to use it to sustain a little bit. But my Brilliant Sword isn't really that amazing. Thought Lole will basically use Soul Burn on cooldown. He won't really think about using it. He just uses it. Which later on it can do quite a bit of damage, but early on it's not really a lot, and I can out-sustain it. And he's not like counter-spelling me at all, so I'm trying to bait him here, and because you see I can take his damage, and now he's almost out of mana. I was waiting for Q to go in there, but he didn't. So eventually he goes in there. Whether or not they actually kill him, I don't know. There you go. Kind of elaborated a long wind just to kill him, but kill him we did. Top lane. The Frenchman battle continues. Ricky blowing through every consumable in the book to try to get himself mana. HKS meanwhile full mana. Oh, he died. Rest in penises. So this gets slapped down. Steak really does have a zoo. He's got a bunch of Walter Elementals and some bugs that we pretty much never see. I've contemplated getting them, but the main reason why I don't end up getting them is because they need corpses, and it's not good for killing minions, or crew camps rather, because you have to get some initial kills on them, and low level they're not going to have the stats to tank them or deal damage, so to me it never really quite seems worth it. But I think Steak gets some mileage out of them in this game. Kind of like depends on their mana cost. If their mana cost isn't that high, they're probably not really too bad. Other than like the corpse cost. If it's a corpse cost plus a very high mana cost, then they're not like as useful as wards or whatever. So we're kind of pushing down here, sort of uncontested really. The two of us do kind of a lot of damage. The terror of the Frenchman strikes again. Oh no, is he gonna get away? Oh. I want Ricky to go in for that one last spank. Like I said, creep aggro in this game is really weird. They like intentionally turned around and flipped on him. It was bizarre. Very, very strange. So I went back. The skill name for learning was not changed to Walter Elemental. Sermon Ward level 5, Chain Lightning level 3. HKS and I ultimately ended up going up very similar builds, with the exception that he has Cold Arrow and I took Healing. Definitely feels like Healing is like definitely very mandatory in this, and I haven't really tried it. I'm not sure if Chain Holy Light heals yourself, but Healing away, it feels like it's... I have used the Chain Death Coil, which was alright, but it feels more mana hungry, is what I remember. So it's... I don't usually take those. Word of Shadow Sight. Unit is dispelled. So this group here is pretty good at clearing the camps, albeit a little slow. We're definitely behind on the clearing in the top lane compared to them, but bottom lane was cleared out. Pretty calm game so far, other than the extreme violence in the top lane. And some violence in the bottom lane. Definitely a lot of trading. Not a huge amount of kill threat yet. So this gets cleared out. Pretty simple. Trying to get to the shekels, but Steak ends up stealing it. And I do not have enough money for a bomb. And I end up taking the surgical mask. So surgical mask is arguably a better purchase than the bong at this point in the game. But the bong's base damage increase is just nice to have, especially for getting last hits. Especially like... However, because I went wards, it doesn't help the wards, right? Like, I think it might help the healing, but it wouldn't help the wards. So, it's kind of a mix, but I think the mask ends up being better. Why is pathing so autistic? I think it's because their collision is huge. So, I discovered that he has Divine Shield. He kind of just walks away. TGS and Hizzalot are preparing for a Hydra battle. Hopefully Krabnar doesn't backdoor them again. So, I was considering that they might be down here, but I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to go in there yet. They did kill all the Hydras. Now, we do have a Ricky in here, but there is a lot of wards up. So the damage comes out, but man, they also have a lot of damage. And Ricky died. Now, if they're not careful, they can, I can die, he can die, and I'm gonna die. I don't do too much other than die. We were both very squishy. So that wasn't very good. It was so close, though. If Ricky was actually able to do anything, there's no one up there. Steak can't do anything. They'd be long gone by now. There's no point in him. I wanted my 150 gold. I like that the formation makes him move so slowly. Nope. Camera. So he looked for them, but nobody's there. Steak is in danger. Up. Up. No, his watermelons are attacking the minions. Oh shit, the beat. He died. The Walter Elementals have arrived. And they have also died. Only cat hair remains. My balls are fatty. That's why. Fatty. And this burdone is hard to bear. So I wanted to murder High Zealot. The problem is I literally don't do anything. So I summoned a Frenchman who has no mana. And we ended up aggroing the Hydras. Now, ultimately, if Ricky dies, it's like it's a net bonus for me. But I need them to stand in my wards. Unfortunately, Ricky died so fast. He went way too far ahead. And we got HKS low, but we weren't going to kill him.
Our allies' town is under siege.
Now, if I had acid bomb, I definitely could think about killing the Erdl with this build. But I don't think I get it in this game. So the Hydra's gonna push up here and this is gonna die. Game is kind of going against us already pretty early on. Although my build is definitely more late game than it is early game. It's not the easiest team for me to deal with, because I bare minimum have to like trade. I was really hoping Lolly would give into his habitual thirst and try to dive my wards, but he's died so many times of that in the past. I think he was actually timid. So I just like kept tickling him, and it's like, okay, you can debuff me, but I'm gonna heal. And let's see, Brilliance Aura 5 versus, oh, mine was only 1. This mana regen may actually be almost as good as mine. Yeah, it's pretty comparable. So I couldn't really make him run out of mana. I could, however, get him very low, but probably wasn't gonna kill him. I would have been better off doing camps than bothering with this, but I think I saw the top lane was like not worth it. Oh, maybe I did have Finger of Death. Couldn't see if that came from me or Q, but that could have been why I was just intentionally tickling him. Is to get him low to burst him, but it was ultimately Q who secured the kill. I think I like kind of gave up on top lane because I couldn't really do too much in the moment, but they are coming down here, and oh, HK has canceled his teleport accidentally. Pretty sure he did not intend to do that. So I went back, upgraded my stuff a little bit. I think I had my eyes on the shop actually, because I have enough for a bong at this point. But I don't usually upgrade Brilliance Aura that much early on, and when you're saving your gold, you don't really get a lot to spare either. I might actually have to go AFK somewhat soon. Might have to split this into several recordings. So we returned a couple kills onto them, but I feel like their minion upgrades are going to be a lot better. 2-1. And this is 1-1. So I guess not. We've gotten a couple Hydra kills in, so maybe it's a little more even than I'm thinking. But I think, I don't know, endgame is going to be really violent in this one. It's just really explosive. People are just dying left and right. Almost everybody has a hard caster. In fact, I think everybody is a hard caster. The only ones that wouldn't be is like Q, who is still like a mixed. And then like maybe High Zealot, who still I think is mixed. But they're otherwise squishy, right? Like they're going to be building damage. In this case, it actually pays to grab a head barrel fairly early on if you can afford a little bit of extra, because it might actually help you secure not getting bursted down early into the fight, and maybe a secure kills. The priest is just stealing murlocs. I'm like trying to path over there. Ricky's taking these, which is good. Well, he might die for the effort. Certainly getting perilously close. Oh. I thought something was coming up. I remembered. Wait, who has skeletons? Oh, it's High Zealot. I turned around just in time to see Ricky get murdered. So we're gonna end up taking their hydras pretty much uncontested here. Rainbow doesn't even look over there. He's got a attack speed, Emperor Kappa. Let's clear that out. And I end up picking up the bong. This is actually pretty relatively even. They're going to end up finishing off this turtle that somehow didn't die in the scuffle. And we went over here, apparently. So this is actually possible to kill early on. But, I did need to have my words up beforehand. Oh, does Q go for it? He could. He can definitely go for it. I wonder if he wants to. He's thinking about it. He can grab the coins too. Oh. That was a pretty quick turnaround for Thigh Loli. Oh, because he had the Gem of Truth thing. Well, they ended up getting Crabdar early on because of that. Lamentals. I wonder if Q, or rather, Q. Rainbow knows about the lore of Lamentals. Alright, I think I'm actually going to go AFK here, and we'll pick this up when my shit's sorted out. Alright, I'm just going to keep recording until the phone. Got my coffee, everything else has been sorted out. Save. So halfway through the game. One thing I've been trying to think of is what other kind of like early game objectives could there be in the map? Because obviously, you know, closing games is still kind of difficult. And you can get, like, even in the last game where it was pretty heavily one-sided, just because of the team compositions and everything else, it still is actually a longer replay than this one. And, this guy got murdered. And, like, this happens, but one thing we did do is we fixed the, you know, 2 to 3 hour games, right? Like, that's fixed. We don't necessarily want to make the games even shorter, even more lightning. You know, like an average of an hour is not necessarily bad. It's just, I try to think of, okay, so how we can make like the first half of the game have something more interesting going on. I was trying to think of like, well, these mid-range items are generally locked here, which is not bad, but we don't really go over there. So how would we make those interesting without feeling like, oh, you're losing money because you're buying these and we're not going to have an item recipe system because, frankly, they're stupid. They're also a pain in the ass to set up. What else can we do with them that's interesting? Well, this beetle got eaten. So there's the crowd that they stole from us, but it'll eventually die, I think. Ricky laid some eggs. Oh yeah, that actually did quite a bit of damage. Ricky should try tanking him. So I don't know. I was trying to think of like maybe like some like special. Like, not. Okay, I'm glad it did eventually happen. I was trying to think like what else could happen in the map that could give us items, like just drop items. So I was trying to like think of like Lowlands a legend with like the spawns and stuff on the map that would like pop in middle lane and stuff. We don't really want them to pop in middle lane on here. So I was trying to think of like these locations could be recycles, right? Like there could be ramps here with destructible cocks on them that blow up after the pick phase ends, and all these can be deleted, the circles of power. You could do something up there, but I was trying to think of like what. I thought of having like bosses or something spawn up there or something like that, that they could drop like a fixed item or something. But then it's like, when should they spawn? How often should they spawn? Maybe they should only spawn like a limited time after they die. Or maybe it's just always just the same static amount, so that you can, oh, I found some dudes down here. It's an epic battle. So I got some damage in there. The ding, oh. The mass teleport killed me. Oh. Oh, an effort was made. Rainbow, oh, got a little too close. The Walter Elemental has arrived. Oh my god, he's chonky. Yeah, it was just like something I considered that like items here could be maybe adjusted a little bit so some of the other mid-range ones are a little more useful. And maybe like low mid-range items could drop from dudes, but I don't know. I don't really like. I would like the whole point of them would be to encourage earlier fighting, and not just you have a group that has ads and minions. So obviously they're always going to be pushing the Hydras earlier in the game, right? And so I was trying to think of like you might even I don't know be able to. There's a shaman behind the door. I remember that. You can't see him, but he's right there. I thought about having maybe where these gates are. Probably the bottom gate, honestly, as opposed to the top gate. They could just like open at fixed times, and then these units could be in there, and then that just stays open until the units are killed or whatever. Maybe like the turtles disappear during that. It would be an arrangement to do, suffice to say. But that was just like one idea I had to also get players back onto the bottom of the map without necessarily changing the balance of the map too much in the top, without like nerfing the top. Basically, I think the top's in it okay. I'm just trying to think of areas to add something extra to the bottom lane without it just being make the minions. He ran away. Wow, that lolly died. So I think Lowlands Legend had some pretty solid ideas in that. I just wasn't sure what we're gonna do with it. Oh, so yeah, he's using like Frost Nova plus cold arrows. Also, he might die for that. Nope, it was close. They don't have True Sight. So this has definitely been a violent game. I'm coming over here to kill these guys. I think adding the mages is good. A few people have picked up on that. The mages exist. They do help the mid lane a little bit. They're not like giga. Then again, I don't think I've seen like the highest level of them. Oh, I've got a Zeppelin. I don't think they're like giga ultra mega pushers, but they do help, and they're pretty easy to kill. They can do some damage to you. They can also really screw with your summons because I think they dispel magic, but they are like a little extra. Like mid lane isn't worthless basically. It's sometimes you want to go to mid lane if top is too hot, or you don't want to go bottom, right? Can maybe think about giving their high level ones more powerful spells even. Not sure what their highest level ones are, but I don't know. I was trying to think of like where you would have it, like something not necessarily sort of like event driven, but not like really forced. Like that's why I would say like mid-range items, like the you know, like not these, but the like the rings of armor and other kinds of stuff like that. It's like you can sell these at the minimum, and then they could possibly sell for an okay amount. So there's a little bit of money in it at least, but possibly like better claws of attack, the 50% Sobe masks. Like they might even have like a table that drop a handful of items from or something. And then they don't necessarily have to persist after like a certain amount of them have spawned and been killed. And the bottom lane is more spacious for that, where the minions aren't going to always get caught in them. Right. And I guess you could even tie them to the wave spawning too, when they're killed. All right, I think I literally did. I was stealing Ricky's ivory towers and just sticking them in the creep camps. I remember this game. Yeah, I was being much more aggressive this game than I was in the first one. I took the glacial spike. I'm not, still a hybrid build, so I'm not really that great at ambushing and killing people, but I can kind of do a little bit of everything, which is kind of sort of what we need right now. Meanwhile, Stake's conveyor belt of bugs just forces their way through there. They do have 10 armor. They're not amazing, but they do have crit apparently. That shaman is still working away on the turtles. The Walter Elementals do a reasonable amount of damage. Their attack speed's not amazing, but TGS has arrived. The Murloc is stealing my mana. All the Stake's goobers have been gooped. Stake has AIDS. My healing is generally low level, so I'm not really capable of sustaining that kind of poke. So I just leave. Stake almost dies to AIDS. Meanwhile, there are some Ricky mines down here. Generally speaking, I think the map is approaching a pretty healthy spot. The only thing I would really want to consider is like, what can be done to add some extra stuff to the first half. So they're pretty low here, but my mana is not really in a good spot. I still only have Brilliance or level 1. So I'm not really going to do too much here. And Ricky is probably going to get silenced or whatever if he runs in there. That was violent. You can't do that. I was trying to think of like other stuff, like Lowlands of Legend having the I can't believe League of Legends stole my name, by the way. They stole my acronym. I should sue them like Blizzard did with Dota, just for the acronym. He died to minions apparently. So Q goes in and dies. I do have 8s, but I'm generally fine. Thought Loli barely escapes. I'm trying to think of like control points too that could be interesting. In Lowlands of Legend, I was going to have control points in different parts of the map. The towers in the lanes were just part of it. There was also going to be the external control centers that influenced the rate of the minion resource acquisition. They were going to be kind of off the beaten path. So they and the world bosses that were off the beaten path were there primarily for like PvP only stuff. Is people trying to control these objectives without having to like live inside the lanes, right? Of course, with Warcraft 3's controls, the high latency and everything related, the whole idea of having it very PvP centric to me just seemed really bad. Having played Dota and seeing how bad PvP felt within World of Warcraft, or okay, within Warcraft 3, I just instinctively jumped to World of Warcraft. It was like, no, World of Warcraft's controls were actually not that bad, even though it was tab targeting. It was certainly a lot better than Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 is just way too high latency. It's just too awkward. But I was trying it, like that's how I was learning this stuff, and having played Dota, I kind of like knew he was probably not going to work that well. So I would be kind of concerned about that in this too, but you're kind of already in that arena, so it's kind of like, how can I make stuff be a little improved? These two could definitely engage on Rainbow. He doesn't have any kill threat on them at all. They didn't really have to run. They should have just ran back behind him and just cornered him. So Stig is down here. He is getting me encountered by the Black Man train. And he's gonna die pretty quick here. They're gonna pick up probably almost all the Hydras. I was also trying to think of these shops too. All three shops and the lands are the same. But it would be interesting to see them have some relevance later into the game and be different from each other in some manner. But when it comes to the whole items thing, it's kind of like utility items only go so far when everything is super hard-coded. Because I would definitely be going into more like triggered behavior for my item suggestions, right? So they're gonna undoubtedly Krabnar was not even moving for a moment. They're gonna try to kill this guy. I don't know if they actually can. They are, well, Rainbow actually might be able to, yeah, he can tank it. Wasn't even attacking for a while. So we kill the Hydras, they get Krabnar. Krabnar immediately spawns because of the wave timing. It's gonna shove us out of there. We're getting pushed in mid. And meanwhile, my towers have been killing these dudes as they spawn. I don't think you can build towers over here. The chaos damage one would probably end up killing them. But then again, this guy here is chaos damage, and well, they are going to end up killing one of the towers. The towers can finish them. Oh, I told Ricky to repair them, but I think his peasants might die. His peasants. Nope, they're alive. So Ricky up here is being heckled by a pony. They have a pretty large wave up here, not to speak of the fact that I believe Krabnar is... Yep, Krabnar is still on his way. A little bit of a rough situation here. I think my Zeppelin died at one point and I ended up buying another one. So we were definitely getting pressured quite a lot here. On the other hand, they can't do too much here, other than they can probably kill the Erdl, but we seemed capable of actually killing these at this point. The sustain's kind of bad on this, but the Avatar of Vengeance is, I don't remember, this is a game where Steak got this, and it spawns a lot of little invincible ads. And it does, especially in the higher levels, last for kind of a long time. So it's actually not that bad. I ended up using it in a later game, and I wasn't as good at micromanaging and paying attention to it, but it did seem to be pretty decent. So they're gonna kill the Erdl. And there's not too much we can do about that. Looks like Q might have had some idea about that, but couldn't really do anything about it. So I think our Hydras will spawn against the Urdle. That's not too bad for us. The mine's exploded, but Rainbow is none the wiser. There's an invisible cat running around. We found HKS and erased him. There's like 30 stasis wards over there. Alright, so we did not get Hydras, but they did get this. So our Hydras came in a little bit sooner. There's so much CC. I don't think we're even aware that they took it yet. So I have 2 bonks, starting to get up there a little bit. There is a turtle here. It's not going to say it's sustained as hard as Krabnar, but it's still probably something I can't really deal with. I kind of wanted to engage on High Zealot, but then we look at his inventory, we can see he's actually got some shit on him. So I definitely really can't deal with him up front. On top of having the turtle, Q shows up, we end up trading. The Bat Rider starts murdering. Oh, Q's probably dead, actually. It doesn't help he's running away from me. He's fucked. Bye. I possibly could have healed him. I don't know if I could have actually saved him. So, Turtle's coming down. Stig is down here with like 80 minions. The Avatar Vengeance timer is so long that so long as nobody kills it, it will stay up for a while. It's not really much damage, but in the minion wave it can definitely stack with a push. So I'm doing a little bit of damage here to try to slow this down. See that High Zealot's taking some damage, but level 10 acid bomb. There is Ricky mines everywhere. There is Ricky towers everywhere. Stakes, a horde of shit. Slowly slap down a barracks. Thou Lily puts up some amount of resistance. Ricky's been creeping every now and then. So it's pretty much just me dealing with the Urdle at the moment. Some defenses go down, but it's not too big of a deal. They're having much worse of a time in battlenet, because not really any concentrated effort has been mounted against Stake at the moment. And yeah, their mid also took some damage as well. Stake has been permitted to annihilate everything. Only Thou Lily is trying to stop him, and for some reason, Thou Lily's caster build is completed with a balanced axe. I guess because of the orb. I'm not sure if the orb splash actually benefits from attack damage though. Oh, Stake's in trouble. Or is he? LMAO! I forgot about the other Zeppelin. I think one got shot by like Bat Riders or something. And the other one I just kind of forgot about. So we actually did quite a bit of damage. Their Urdle did nothing. The Krabnar really didn't do anything. And our 2 pushes, one of which I didn't even pay attention to, but I think it was Ricky. Might have been Ricky, because I thought Ricky was down here. There was bodies down here in Ricky's mines, but someone was in the middle to do a lot of damage without really a lot of contest. But in particularly, Stake's push was just completely ignored. Also, their title lord is just chilling. I picked up an Ankh again. You can see I've got a lot of money. I might consider buying an axe just to have some damage, but it's probably better to take another bong. The bong has like mixed usefulness. I think there's like a kind of a fallout for the bong at this point because of the fact I'm relying a lot on stasis wards. I might have been contemplating what to get. I ended up taking head burl and then trading, selling. Yeah, okay. I think I was saving at that point.
Our town is under siege.
Finally got the Zeppelin. The tower is finally gonna die. My deformed sons have finally smashed the Tower of Babylon. Meanwhile, an onslaught of various lobsters and large man come down bottom, which has not been rebuilt. And High Zealot's gonna get bouldered. Rainbow Dash was murdered in the top lane. He basically goes in and gets nuked. There is a number of us up here. Oh, HKS is gonna get fucked. Yeah, this is what I remember, is if you went near Q, you were just immobilized. There was basically nothing you could do. Oh, Ricky died. Some storm going on up here from the Storm Reaver Necrolane. How did these ones end up in middle lane? Is that where these guys go? Is that where these guys go? Maybe. Bottom lane is still completely fucked. Middle lane is completely fucked. We may have caught them at a really bad time for their money, where they may have spent a lot of their money. Oh, an Avatar Vengeance level 1 from High Zealot. Is a lot. Our upgrades are 4 and 3 versus 3 and 4, so we're taking the lead. We're definitely dominating their rotations on the map now. They can't leave their base, so it's gonna eventually hit that spot where the ballistic upgrade will start coming in and Depression Aura. But the game will probably be over before that. Because the bottom lane can't really do too much. I mean, they're kind of even struggling with middle. That's done. It was more like a mild annoyance. High Zealot just like tanks Q. And there's also a Frenchman. If he wants healing, he can't hang out in the back. Yeah, the heal, I don't know if the heal even scales off of in. I have a feeling it doesn't. Or it's just really low level. Everybody died. They tried to dive. He got tickled on the edge, he got slowed forever, and then he died. And that is going to be game. HKS isn't over here, and... I was looking for Thought Loli, I don't see him. There he is. Oh. Q just... Oh, shit. Shout out some mines. Hey, Ricky, shout out some mines. They're like aggressively shitting at each other. The Infernal has arrived. I can't even click on it. Just kind of like stands there and gets murdered. Turtles march in. Alright, well, that was kind of like the inverse of the first game, but a lot faster and definitely substantially more violent. And Steak actually only had one more kill than Hizzalot, 5 more kills than Thyloli, and my kills are, their kills are all so similar here until you hit the Alliance. But this group here is just within such a tiny margin. It's ridiculous. And hero kills are pretty highly in the favor of Hizzalot because they just didn't have much success from the rest of their teams. He was the one picking up kills. And then followed by a very strange spread of 555. Steak had 2. And Rainbow had 1. Rainbow did not find much success in that game. Our team was very hard for him to really... He needed someone to be able to lock down people for him to actually engage them. And he wasn't there at critical periods. And yeah, it takes him a lot to actually get off the ground. So ultimately, he just kind of got screwed.